What's up, guys? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, ho ho ho, fa la la, 'tis the season, and all of the great Christmas phrases and exaggerations for the holiday season. So, we are here with the final episode of the Railchief 5 Weeks Till Christmas Spectacular here on the channel. And as always, welcome back, of course, to Railchief74. Now, before we go ahead and get on with the running session, I have a little bit of a newer item that I just purchased recently at Seaside Hobbies in Ocean View. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Mike, you already have this engine. Why are you going out to buy another duplicate of the exact same locomotive that you have? Well, once we get into the review, it will all make sense in the end. And I promise you guys, there is a really big explanation for all of this. So at the same time, I really do hope that you guys will enjoy watching today's episode. If you guys are really enjoying what you're seeing so far, be sure to hit the like button down below. And as always, we're going to go ahead and take a better look at this locomotive. So, like I always say, sit back and relax, and I hope you guys will enjoy. So long story short, this engine has been part of a trend that's been going on in my collection over the past couple of years, where if I have a particular item, whether it's an electric, a diesel, or a steamer, and if it gets broken after a while, I can't get the reproduction parts for it, so I would have to sell it off for parts or whatever. And then I would have to go in a few years later to buy the exact same duplicate of that same engine. And this steamer right here that I have on the workbench is no exception. Whether it's the Commodore Vanderbilt or the 773 Hudson or the North Pole Central lines, like I mentioned, it's been kind of like a thing that's been going on over the past couple of years. I don't really have any big explanation for it, but thankfully, on the positive side, I was really thankful enough to find this when I did at a really decent price over at Seaside Hobbies. Now, the original version of this engine that I had, the E-unit was broken, it didn't smoke, it had a couple of pieces that were kind of chipped off, so it had to be sold off. So thankfully, like I said, I was really glad to have found this when I did, because if you're somebody like me who does their shopping online, if there's like a very particular item out there that's going to be difficult to track down, most of the time they're not going to have it in stock. So here we have the engine and the tender. As you can see, everything is pretty much all cleaned on this variation, and everything looks like it hasn't been ran as much. And just like I said, with the parts and components that come with these very earlier Lionel starter sets, they don't really make them that much anymore because, Lionel's being made overseas. But this really does goes to show you how good of the quality was still being made back then, when Lionel was still having a little bit of a small manufacturing business in the United States. And just like with some of the other earlier Lionel starter sets, like I said, everything is all die-cast metal. We got some really impressive attention to detail on a very miniature version of a Lionel steam locomotive. You even got that classic air whistle. That I'll get to in just a little bit later. And then the tender, along with the trucks and the couplers, are all made of plastic, again, just to save a little bit of cost on the item that they were making back then. And this was also an engine that my grandmother got me for Christmas many years ago, so I kept that exact same train set up to this very day. But like I said, when it came to the original engine that came with the set, I had to sell it off because there was some stuff that didn't really work that well anymore. So I wanted to make sure it went to a good home so that way the next person could take care of that engine. So I'm really thankful enough, once again, to have this engine back into the collection. So I think what we're going to do next is to bring it on over to the layout. We'll apply some power to the track, and we'll finally get the running session started for the holiday season. All right, so here we have the engine finally on the layout here, and before we go ahead and apply power to the track, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a closer look on some of the detail on this very small but yet affordable Lionel piece of equipment. There we have Santa Claus in the cab there waving hello to everybody. You got the number 25 with the little mistletoe decorations. Everything on this is pretty much cleaned except for the front where the pilot and cow catcher is located. I can always just go in there and cover that up with a little bit of a black magic marker, and that'll fix it right up. But yeah, everything you see here is almost in pretty much pristine condition, and not really too sure if you guys can see very well, but there is a little nook in the silver there. Again, that's okay. I got a silver Sharpie that can easily fix that up. And here we have the tender once again, all made of plastic, including the trucks and couplers. But you're not really going to use this engine to pull a heavyweight freight set. It's more or less a traditional item where you can pull at least like 2, 3, 4, or 5 cars in total. Okay guys, now that the review is all taken care of and out of the way, I have power applied to the entire layout here with some little Christmas animations. So we're going to go ahead and roll out the North Pole Central Lines freight set here, and we'll also operate some of the other trains on the layout here. So that way we can end the video with our very special holiday running session. But before we get to that, I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year for 2025. So let's hope that next year brings us all happiness and good fortune. And don't forget, there's going to be lots of surprises coming from Lionel, MTH, Atlas, and many other of the iconic O-Gauge companies for next year. So it's definitely a good time to get excited for the O-Gauge hobby. And if you guys really have enjoyed watching all of the videos in the Christmas series, be sure to give them all a thumbs up and a like. And don't forget to give this video a like as well. So with that being said, my name is Mike. I really hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas once again. And until next time, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.